Thank you, Rev. What a privilege, what an honor for me to be in the house of the Lord. As truth is not a coincidence, it is a God incidence that we are all here gathered. And thank you, Rev, for an opportunity for me to come and just talk to the church. Muruti has given me clear instructions that Masiza uskarera, just have a conversation with the church. And that's what I'm going to do. And I'm aware that I only have 15 minutes. Let me give you the structure of my 15 minutes. I'm going to talk about general principles of success for 5 minutes. And then I'm going to talk about how our commercial model as Empowaworx. Because Murutu mputitsa re letsa zwang tšhelete ko Empowaworx. Ke a go kopa tle o tlo bua le kereke. Muruti, am I within the brief? Okay. Good morning. Are we all here? Let me extend my gratitude also to the leadership of the church for allowing me to come and speak to Mamruti and Lebana ba Muruti. I have a young man who has incredible hospitality in a capital or currency or equity. Ula re tshwara gantle ke tšhakile na le tšhomiaka ko mebitsa slender majority ba re ke fane ke a leboga young man for tshwara gantle. But I can't. Let me also extend my gratitude to Ntate Stivovo Siaka ke motho, because unkentse motho. The Bible says give credence where it's due. And as long as I live, and I hope my posterity will remember that you have lived and you have accelerated my destiny. Thank you, Chaka. And also to me. I'm going to talk about 5 principles, as Muruti Ankupile, that makes you to succeed and how you can find a way for you when it's chelete. And to the production team that side, it really just leave it the first slide. When are we going to go to this one? We'll spend 5 minutes in one. We'll spend the 5 minutes and then we'll spend 4 minutes at the videos. I think if we can follow that cadence, I will appreciate. But to, when I started, Nakidulako Orange Farm, as you know that in terms of the stats, it's like Orange Farmer. Orange Farmer is the #1 capital, meta capital in the province, as you know, #3 in the country. Orange Farmer like other kids. And my story is simple. Go school, without any provision. It's a very simple story. But all that I had, it was just a dream. And even when I'm long dead and buried, people can continue to wax lyrical about my existence. And in a poto is simple that, Kimang otlo pahama because I've lived. And then I started to explore on Tate Muruti, what are the ways for me and the rest of us to succeed? Because Mudimu works in mysterious ways, and all that I had, it was just an idea. Idea kanokore ke batla ho ba sebui that is renowned. I wanted to be an inspirational speaker, that moves people and make money. And my philosophy then, it was where there is a voice, there must be an invoice, And then nekibua who the companies, kibua who the kolo, kibua ko the universities. My last speaking engagement, ke a hopola ne ke bua ko Sun City. I was addressing a group of insurance, brokers and owners. And then I think that was almost 10 years ago. I was giving a keynote address, for 30 minutes, and then I was charging 35,000 rand just to bua, and I realized that I think I've reached the pinnacle of speaking. You reach that thing, that Damascus experience. So what? I've done it all. Because mama ka nampotsa or ngwana ka maro phela jwang ke re no ke lo bua a re ka fela masera bua wena o bua jwang ba o patala because nna ke a bua ke re no, it's a different kind of speaking, mama. This speaking pays the rent, and then I then realized that, as there's a saying that says that your future, it's a direct proportion of your thoughts. That's why Bible is, as a man thinketh, in his or her heart, so is he. Einstein or how nagana o a gona, o nagana ha o gone, o right. Einstein says if you think you can or you cannot, you're right. Because your performance in life and your destiny in life, it's a direct proportion of your thoughts. Baba itutang physics, but understand, I want to a butterfly effect. Kamantswamang ere, ha butterfly, deep down in Amazon, when it flings its wings, I say like this, it affects a den of lion or a weather pattern in India. Kamantswamang kore, don't despise the days of small beginnings. Because feelings on. The idea, that's why Bible faith your heart. Small as what? Because God believes in small things. Again, that's why Miles Monroe are how to peu le tsogong la gago. Awa tshwara peu, you are carrying the entire forest. I just want to give a context before I can that. Future how it's a direct proportion of your thoughts. And therefore, how would you more feel an idea? That's why Bible God operates in eternity. He operates outside time and space. That's why the Bible a day to God is more like 1,000 years. And 1,000 years is more like a day. How do you it might not be now, but God is not a man that he can lie. There's no DNA yamaka. As a Satan with him. Because I have engineered you to succeed. You are not a coincidence, you are a coincidence. You have survived the West Storm. We have survived COVID. And it's once we put one, or why did I survive? When the rest, have passed on, because there's still a purpose for your life. Because now 5 things that you must understand. But to babang bayetsa chelete, I call it what I call it the connection economy. That other people bayetsa chelete ka connect habatu. In business, I call it, we are being what I call a relationship capitalist. Let me explain what I mean. They have no proximity to ideas, but they have proximity to decision making. Msebetsi wa bona ku kopantsha batho ba etse tšhelete in that connection. Whatever o gola ne ko magaeng. Hona le malome or hona le abuti ke ano kopantsha batho re ba nyale wa tseba batho ba ona lo jwetsa re ska wara ngwana go ga ke tlo fumanela motho and o tla o fumanela motho. It's up to you to make it happen. Again, a ska wara or ha o ro batla tender a ska wara ke tla o kopantsha le chief procurement officer. Ha o ro batla funding a ska wara ke tswere Stivovo. Those are people, I call them they're in what I call the connection economy. And these are the people that they make money by connecting people. Once they've done the connection, by law, they're entitled to get what you call a certain percentage. Why put some udula to a big house, and an office. The biggest currency that is have is to connect people. And once the connection is done, they make money. That's why the Bible says, remember. I like the biblical verse that says, remember the Lord your God, for it is He that gives you power to create wealth. That gives us power to create what? Wealth. And these people, they believe that their network determines their net wealth. Their success is not by effort only. They believe that partnerships unlock scale, relationships unlock capital, proximity unlocks opportunity. These are the people that believe that the kingdom of relationship and connection, it's a kingdom infrastructure. And therefore, you must ask yourself, is that I am in the connection economy where I can, because not all of us, we are traders. We are not born, all of us, into. But have a business, King took a there are many ways to make money. The second system is what I call the voice economy. I'm going to quickly. It's the voice economy. It's are people that are making money out of what I call their influential capital. If you look at Trevor Noah, he doesn't sell a product. He's the product himself. The people that they don't sell a business, keep business, keep the influencers, the people that are making money because they're in the voice economy. If you look at, T.D. Jakes is in the voice economy. He makes money by speaking. You look at, Bill Gates and the other one, the third one is what we call the creator. These are the people that create systems, and then they solve problems. I normally say to my team, guys, I don't want to make $1 million from one person because it's difficult, but I want to make R1 from 1 million people because it's easy. And these are the people that build empires. These are the people that they own systems. For example, if you look at Uber, the people that runs Uber, they don't own any taxi, any car. They own a system. Every time when you take a ride, they take 20%. Therefore, as a young person, find yourself, one of the systems where, where you belong. The last one is what I call an architect. An architect are people that build systems. For example, if you look at Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg has built the biggest social, networking system. As long as we're still alive, we're going to use the system, and then he makes money out of that. Let me go to Empowaworx quickly because of time. I'm going to take 3 minutes, and then I'll be done. I'm so sorry that I had to accelerate this. Maybe you're asking and say, where then do you belong as Empowaworx, in that? I normally say to people, I belong in the connection economy, that route. Because my role to go Empowaworx and what we do is to connect people. Reconnect about to opportunities. We're connecting ideas to capital. We're connecting women to opportunities. That's why, as you can move quickly, that's why we have, different, we call them platforms. Let me explain, Hanyani, what we mean. For example, there's something called the Joy of Jazz. It is a platform. There's something called the League. That's why we have Betway that are putting close to $1 billion in the League. There's a lot of platforms. And what we have done is that we've created these platforms as Empowaworx. And then how then do we make money? We make money in different ways, or we finance these platforms in different ways. We have different, partners, that we work with. Maybe let's not follow because of time, but I'm going to just briefly explain. We have 5 platforms. One, we have what we call the Empower Youth, where we connect young people to opportunities. And then we have Empower Women. Okay, this is Empower Youth. This we have impacted close to 200,000 young people to date. And maybe you're asking myself, what is the bigger picture, Masiza? The bigger picture, Mtate Murutukuri, after 5 years, we want to package all these assets individually and sell them. If you look at Empower Youth, we had an approach from one of the investment companies almost 3 years ago. They were saying to us, can we buy Empower Youth? Because they see the potential. I couldn't sell the platform or I couldn't sell the asset because my philosophy then was that we have not built enough capital or enough equity or enough equity around the platform. Therefore, the long term is to build them, is to make sure that we operate in multiple jurisdictions with global and local partners so that we can go to a funder and say, here's a platform. There are other young men that were running an activation agency that was focusing on young people. Those young people, they sold that agency close to $1 billion because they had data, they had insight, they've built that equity. That is the strategy that we have for Empowaworx. Thank you so much. Thank you to the church. Much appreciated. Thank you, Mrut.
Come on, let's give, before you go, Simphiwe, you're still with me? Come on, let's appreciate this visionary. So, I could hear there's a preacher here, you saw. Now, tell me, Caesar, what makes other people fail?
What a difficult question. I guess for me, 2 things, Muruti. Oh, thank you. As I said, it's when you don't recognize the strength that you have as a person. That's number 1 for me. But it's when you don't learn around people in your own sector. That's why about to the biographies, the books, so that you don't make the mistakes. There's so much literature around what are the things that you shouldn't do, whether you are a preacher, whether you're an entrepreneur, you're a banker. Therefore, you can learn from other people. I think it's ability not to want to learn from other people, but also is that the lack of ability to autocorrect. Because I normally say to my colleagues, there's nothing wrong to fail and to make a mistake. I have no issues around that. But I have an issue when you make the same mistake again.
Yes.
Because how you tuti.
Yes.
The last one, Muruti, that I want to add, there's the late president, BMF, Ntate Lawton Ndlovu. He used to say, always attribute intelligence to your competitor. Because how it's like that, you will then self-correct, you will perfect the craft, you'll always remain competitive and not comfortable in your own space.
And the last question I want to ask you, what is your advice on people who are to handling wealth and power? If Bazalwane, I will confess in my life since I was born until today, I have never met a man who is able to bring so many powerful people in one place. I don't understand. How do you handle so much power and wealth with such grace? Just explain that.
I think your last statement, Muruti, it's grace. I would give a simple incident. You know the event at Orange Farm, we had a dome and all that. And Murutu, we had one of our service providers was a guy who was doing the rails, the 360. John, what I did is that I went, get on 360, and this guy, Androaka, like, hey, we're not umang and all. And then I was saying to my team, Kopalinke out here, let me go over because I don't have to introduce myself,
Yes.
by the virtue that I behave as part of the team and not waxing my authority to service providers. Because but what I'm trying to say, Murutu Kore, grace, so our power and authority must be handled with grace and humility. By the virtue, and that's my philosophy, by the virtue that I managed to bring all these people, I don't have to impose myself. That's why you're right. How about the Nagats Amel and then I'm busy going to Tsaka because I've done what I was supposed to do. And it's just grace, it's just handle it with humility, because once you have arrived, you must not announce that you have arrived. People will then worry about it.
Wow, guys, I'm blown apart. Please, can you continue? Let's go back to church. Bring me back. Let's give it up for the leader and the visionary, Simphiwe Masiza. Who's doing an offering? Let's continue.